Hello, hello. Welcome back to day 7 of our 30-day challenge. And tonight, so I just ended a meeting a little while ago. So I know I'm a little late, but I was on a meeting and I'm not sure if I shared with you guys that I know in the Health and Wealth Facebook group, I shared the statements, the World Health Organization statements and the DEI statements as a part of a movement to really progress our culture, diversity, equity, inclusion. So there have been organizations of colors have basically collaborated, right, to really spark a movement. And in part of that movement, we want to show the impact of what nurses, right, and what we're doing for our communities. And I'm not sure if, and it's a collective effort. And that's what I love about it. It's a collective effort. So you will see we have started a community, Nurse Shift Change. And so we'll have guests on the Nurses with Voices podcast, and you will hear the members of the committee who are also leaders of their organizations will be discussing what they're doing, everything from legislation to LGBTQ to advocacy, because we can't erase history no matter how hard some may try. You really can't erase history. And I'm sure the with everything that you're hearing going on in the country, I'm sure the question is, well, where does healthcare stand? And what are we as leaders, particularly nurse leaders, what are we doing for our communities? So you'll hear over the next few weeks, you'll hear from different members of the community, of the nursing community, different nurse leaders. You'll see them on Nurses with Voices podcast. So listen out for that. We'll be going live, streaming live on LinkedIn in the evening. So just look out for all of the notifications and the schedules of when we'll be going live. Look out for Nurse Shift Change. Our website will be up and running. The social media will be up and running, Facebook page. And well, actually, we already have a Facebook page and Instagram page. So check it out. And there'll be more to come with that, all leading up to our Health and Wealth Summit on May 15th and 16th. Well, we'll be having a DEI roundtable discussion talking about diversity, equity, and the impact that is, that we're making, and the rally, right? The rally that we'll be having on May 24th, and more details to come on that. But I just wanted to start to plant the seed so that when you guys start hearing it, you know what it's talking about. And I'll be talking more about it, but I did want to plant the seed about these, different topics that you'll be hearing, these movements, I should say, because it's all important and it's all relevant. Because when we think about why the Health and Wealth Summit was even started, I've shared this story with you guys in the past, and I was sharing it with the committee tonight. My book, Confessions of a Nurse Executive, with the subtitle being The Conscious and Unconscious Bias in Healthcare. So when you think about bias, and that's why I said I've been through like what's happening right now in the country, a lot of us, and unfortunately, women of color, nurses of color in general, we've been through this already. And our keynote speaker, Dr. Danielle McCamey, is the founder and president of DNPs of Color, right? Doctor of Nursing Practice of Color. And her story is a powerful story, just showing and she'll be sharing, and so that you can understand her background and why she started DNPs of Color. And it's things like what you see happening in the country right now, why we're making a difference with our initiatives, right? So her story is going to be impactful, and we lead that story, her keynote speak, I should say, leading up to the diversity roundtable discussion that we're going to be having at the expo. Is going to be super, super, super powerful. And something that I did want to, so I'm sharing all of this, but I did, just to give you an idea of what your day 7 topic. I guess your day 7 topic, I could have led with that first, but I guess I led with the other information because when we talk about losing your passion and like losing your love for nursing or losing your love for what you do for a living, and I'm just going to say nursing because I'm a nurse, right? And when we talk about burnout and we think about the trauma that occurs when you're in an organization, a bias, right, which is one of the segments that I dealt with, bias can also lead to burnout. And let me show you how, and it can also lead to a loss of passion for what you do or a love for what you do. Because when you're consistently, fighting for positions, when you're consistently fighting to be, to be recognized for what you're doing, and you have to, it can burn you out, right? When you're consistently fighting for your staff, right? And feeling like your fight is futile, it can burn you out, right? When you're doing all of the things, you're doing everything, you're getting the certifications because that's what you're told you're supposed to do. You're getting the degrees because that's what you're told you're supposed to do. You're doing all of these things, but then there's that little thing called bias, and you're burning yourself out doing all of these things because that's what you're expected to do, and that's what you think you need to do to sit at certain tables. And then you realize that you're doing all of this for a system that doesn't necessarily like you, a system that you love, and it doesn't necessarily love you back. And that can really make you lose a love or a passion for what you do. And for me, and I like to piggyback off of the words of, Crystal Parker, right? And Crystal, if you're listening to this, and something that she said, and I may have shared this with you before, was entrepreneurship cured my burnout, right? That's just rosy. But when you talk about a cure, or what do you do to when you start to feel that you're losing a love or passion for nursing, you have to bet on yourself. You have to choose you. And me choosing me is why I am where I am today, right? And so when we talk about earnings, you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid to step away, and you can't be afraid to choose you. You can't be afraid to say, oh, well, what am I going to do about health insurance? Or what am I going to do about, a paycheck? Or what am I going to do about, and again, and I always say, no one's saying quit your job. Start to put things in motion so that when you're ready to leave, you can, because it makes no sense for you to stay in a situation where you're unhappy, you're not progressing. It's almost like a marriage, right? If you're in a marriage or you're in a relationship and you're not getting anything back, why are you still there? You have to truly ask yourself that. Why are you still there? And it's the same thing when it comes to your careers. And with all of the uncertainties and, with the government changes, at what point are you going to bet on yourself and choose you? With all of the changes in the healthcare system, there's supposed to be something like 10,000 layoffs in health and human services right now. I'll have to do some more fact checking on that because there's been some new developments, but I'll definitely mention it on the podcast. But I say this to say, at what point are you going to bet on you? If you find yourself no longer loving nursing or no longer loving what you do, at what point are you going to bet on you? And that's the simplest way to really break through burnout or break through whatever you're going through and get on the road to your wealth building journey. Because what is going to save you? What's holding you back? Money, right? What's holding you back? Think about it. Having a paycheck, what my stream of income is going to be. Well, this is one of the reasons why the Health and Wealth Expo is developed, because it was curated. This is one of the reasons why, so that we can put away the excuses, so that we can put away whatever challenges. You're dealing with bias, remove yourself from that situation. How do you remove yourself from that situation? You bet on you. How do you bet on you? You start to position yourself and, get into the rooms with people who are doing what you want to do. Get into the rooms with 6-figure earners. Get into the room with 7-figure earners. When I wanted to be a 6-figure earner, I got into the room with 6-figure earners. When I wanted to be a 7-figure earner, I got into the rooms with 7-figure, and I'm still in rooms with 7-figure earners, right? So I say that to say you never stop scaling, and you never stop learning. But sometimes you have to shift, and you have to know when to shift and when to pivot, especially when you starting to lose your passion for what you love. And for me, when I shifted, when I started my wellness business, I started advocating for me. I put me first. That was all that I needed. That was the difference. And once I did that, I started to get my passion back. I started being like, I'm doing something that, okay, now I'm able to talk to patients. I treat my patients right now the same way I did when I was in the hospital setting. Same way. But it's on my terms. And it's because, and my son said something to me, back when I was first starting my business. He's like, he's like, Mom, he's like, what I love about you? He was like, you bet on yourself. And that meant a lot. That meant so much to me. I meant a lot because your kids are watching. Your kids are watching because they're affected. Your husband's watching, your wife's watching, they're watching. So be mindful of what you're showing them, and be mindful of what's going on when we talk about the history of this country. No one can erase your history. No one can erase it. So the DEI topic is going to be so, and I know I'm jumping to DEI because it's all relevant. And in my mind, at least it is. If you need me to explain it better, I'm more than happy to. The DEI topic is going to be the conversations are going to be so powerful. We're actually having a live on April 4th, 6 p.m. Check us out live, Eastern Standard Time. We'll be having a roundtable discussion. I'm talking about bridging the gap. It'll be a very candid conversation where you're going to hear from Justin Grant, the keynote speaker for the Health and Wealth Expo on May 15th and 16th, and Dr. Danielle McCamey. And also you'll hear from Reverend Dante Quick. So we're going to have a candid roundtable DEI discussion. It's going to stream live April 4th at 6 p.m. So make sure that you guys tune in. So today is all about betting on yourself. And this is how you're going to start with your wealth journey, by choosing you. All right, guys. So thank you so much. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you register for the Health and Wealth Expo Live Summit, May 15th and 16th. Early registration ends tomorrow, March 31st. Early registration ends. So make sure that you have your tickets so that you can attend. I just can't wait to see you guys there, and I hope to see you. So until next time, guys, until tomorrow, I should say. So I will see you guys tomorrow at 8 o'clock. See you guys tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and we'll be talking more about wealth building strategies. All right, take care.